I didn't get all the. Actually, so in Buddhism, we have this way of dividing mind into different, what you call main minds and mental factors. Okay, I haven't got a whole list of the mental factors because we've got like 51 or something. But this list will give you a little bit of taste. How? Yeah, if you can distribute some, and just give you a little bit of a taste of how we. I mean, it's not a exhaustive list of. So these are just some of the mental factors, not all of them. But, so you will see in mindfulness down there, almost after appreciation, is a factor that brings the mind back to the object again and again without forgetting it. It doesn't allow the mind to wander. Yeah, I mean, so these days mindfulness is used a lot, in all kinds of contexts and meditation techniques. But see, here's the real defining characteristics of what mindfulness is. So, of course, like I was saying, we can use it for all kinds of subjects, from the breathing to thoughts of impermanence, thoughts of compassion, thoughts of patience, loving kindness, all kinds of objects. So you choose that as the object, and the mind again and again, without forgetting it, recollects it and holds it until, you see, the whole point is it becomes automatic, instinctive. What what we normally call instinctive behavior. Your mind takes on that aspect naturally, so you don't have to think again. Oh, how wonderful! Yes, that person was kind to me. Some guys, no, immediately is kind of gratitude, feeling of I must help that person. So so a lot of the time we don't have this kind of gratitude, appreciation for people because we don't feel connected. We don't feel like we've been helped, like directly. Like our parents or our siblings or maybe our friends. Oh yeah, yeah, I've known that person a long time. I've been traveling with them. We shared this and shared that. You see, there's this kind of memory of events, and that becomes like kind of a thing of friendship and a feeling of getting something from them. And if we're close, you see, we don't feel that with other people. So why? Because we're looking for more like a direct thing, a direct contact, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, because if you think widely, everything we're using in our lives, which is helping us, clothes, our hair or no hair, everything is coming due to other people's work or other people being around doing what they do, not intentionally with, oh, I'm going to do this for Gendun, wasn't that? But just because of what they're doing, we have what we normally call our comforts of our life. Think of our clothes, our food, what we ate just now, water suitable to drink just from opening the tap, cups, pens that write, things that are already printed on paper, easy to print on from the computer, whatever. So all these cushions we're sitting on, so we're not sitting on a hard wooden floor. We got like a cushion here, we've got little tables, so we don't have to look on the floor. It's a little bit higher. Somebody thought about them, made them, produced them, and for that reason, all our normal comforts, our needs are met. No, so how it didn't drop out the sky, right? So it came from people's work. So there's this kind of indirect relationship to others. So like an appreciation of others being around, then we have our normal comforts. In that way, why not have that same appreciation for them that you have for your friends, family? There's one way of thinking that, well, if you're so disconnected, like, well, it's not, we might say, well, they have to do that anyway, or I paid for it, so my money. But of course, your money came from where? Because you got a job. Got a job because of what? Because of education, or maybe the guy liked you or interviewed you. You know, those qualities that you liked about you came from where? Maybe because your upbringing, your parents, your schooling. Your schooling came from where? You had teachers. You know, you had a building that the teachings took place in. You can say, yeah, yeah, but we paid for that. Of course. Who paid for it? Your parents paid for it. Where did they get their money from? You know, they had jobs. So it goes back like this. So we're all connected in some way like that, and you have that kind of appreciation. For that. You know, I mean, also if you think you have the appreciation of your own life from your we came with nothing, zero, no nappies, nothing. You know, so then somebody had to provide us with that. You know, so we didn't look stupid when we go out. You know, took care of us, you know, and the doctors and nurses and medicine that was given to us. Where the medicine come from? People, you know, had to produce all. They had to do lab tests. They even had to kill maybe what rats or mice to make sure those medicines worked. You know, so some people even through great effort had to, you know, do things that are helping us, like the farmers, you know. So, for example, you know, because we might be vegetarian, think that's great because we're not directly or indirectly involved in killing any beings. You know, it's not, we're not in that industry. We're not taking part at all, which is great. But even being a vegetarian, you know, there's farmers who have to cultivate their fields. So indirectly, they have to kill. Every time their machines go around the soil, they kill over I don't know how many worms. You know, but somehow it doesn't seem like, well, it's such a big deal because they're small and, you know, it's not a big animal. But still, it's a being. That worm, big, has a mind and values its life just as a cow would. So then, you know, as a farmer goes around, chops. You know? Indirectly, the farmer's creating a lot of negativity indirectly. And so why? Because we get benefit because they have crops, the vegetables, etc. We can buy it easily, cook with it, comes into our plates, just like that. So all that comes from other people's work. Of course, the farmer didn't go out thinking, I'm gonna go out and drive my tractor for Gendun so he can have his vegetables now. But due to him working, we have all our conditions and the water being filtered, etc., being so easy to drink from the taps, you know, which some countries don't have, right? You know, so that your mind starts to become, yeah, you try to appreciate everybody around you, even though from their side they're not doing it intentionally for you. From your side, the mind changes. But, so mindfulness, you know, can put onto that, you know, that kind of thing. And you're mindful of appreciating others' kindness, not kindness like we normally say, oh, my mum's kind, my friends are really kind to me. It's not like that. They're not intentionally trying to help us, you know. But these people, just by doing their work, you know, the guy driving the trains, the buses, everything, there we have transport, you know. The people manufacturing cars, making in the garages, etc., making the cars keep running properly. Oh, so our life goes more easy. People are cleaning the streets so we don't have to walk around in dirty streets and what. Oh, and Rubina talks about all kind of like even now the shop entrances, they open automatically for us. Somebody devises a system when they sense somebody's come into the shops. You just you don't have to open the door, just open the everything is all automated. Wow. So you think like that. So people are thinking more and more ways to have our needs, our comforts, our life goes easier. So that way, okay, you know, the mind becomes instead of rejecting, oh, it's not going well, that's not going well, that's not, I don't like that. Well, at least we have that, and it's going well. At least we have, like, you know, now I don't. Yeah, in Swiss you have it. There's machines that take the snow off the streets, and then I don't know, what do you melt it or something? You melt it, no, so much. In Russia they melt it. At least they come to put it aside. Otherwise you block the street. So they're thinking of people. And people come out in the cold to put salt on the pavement, so you know you don't slip and break your neck and kind of stuff. always trying to protect us. And the water here is really clean, no? Like you can swim in it. I think in England you could not swim in a lake. Here you could. Like we have a river near us. I mean, it's right next to the monastery. It's flowing by us. But from the old days, from the 50s, 60s, there were old factories cleaning leather. But I think the toxins are still like the residues are still there, so people are scared to go in. And people do. You see people kayaking, but I think if you fall in, it's up to your wrist, up to your wrist. So it's really scary. But it's like here, it's clean, you know. I mean, you can go in the it's a river, isn't it, in the city? So you can see the bottom. I never saw that. I was mesmerized. I was like, how can people keep a city so clean like this? Because consciously, everyone wants that. You see, it happens. You know, you bring it about. So, yeah. So some of so even like sleep. Yeah. Is one mental that makes the mind dull and lacking in clarity. It draws the senses inward and the mind loses awareness of the body. It's variable. So this sleep factor, depending on the state of mind of the sleeper, a healthy, happy mind brings restful sleep. An unhappy mind filled with craving or aversion brings fitful sleep and probably disturbing dreams. See, depending on our mental state, even sleep can become positive, constructive, or destructive. So we have to check, when we were upset, jealous, or proud, or angry, we try to sleep a little bit because we're going, our thoughts are going, our thoughts are created by mind, so that affects the body and we can't sleep. So when you have, like, generating loving kindness, compassion, much easier to sleep. So normally the Buddhist practitioners are trying to generate those thoughts before sleeping. So this practice we go throughout what we've done in the day. If there's things we thought were a little bit difficult or harmful for people, or we develop this deep regret because we know it's our fault we did this thing, and we think, okay, I must try and rectify it. I'll try not to do it. Tomorrow, if I meet the same person or the same situation, I'll try to act in a different way. Then I'm going to, then you sleep like that. So it's kind of, I mean, it's like forgiving yourself in a way because we're not perfect, we can't be Buddhas overnight. So we still have tendencies, and we're gonna mess up. So every time we mess up, we're aware of it. We say, okay, I must try to stop it tomorrow. Today, I'm sorry I did that, and I was under this control of this affliction or this emotion. You try and you go to sleep with that instead of holding on to it, And then person, obviously we can't sleep. See, obviously, so it's insomnia, depression, anxiety, stress, all comes from the mind. And because we project and hold on to these things. Like, say you're so hooked on reputation and appreciation, you're not getting it, you want to get a high level of job, high level of pay, it's not happening. And somebody's threatening you getting that because they might get it, and you get jealous and of course, how are you going to sleep? Yeah, so we created, the mind created that. Yeah, so then it affects our sleep. So sleep can, if we sleep with a really positive state of mind, it becomes very virtuous, kind of forgiveness and patience, love. When you sleep with that, then as well. So there's other, so things like the first five, one, two, three. Yeah, the first five are always with us: feeling, discernment, intention, contact, attention. These five are always with us. A feeling is always an experience that we get with any kind of mind. Like even now, we're sitting here. It might not be pleasant, it might not be unpleasant, it may be neutral. It's still a feeling. Like right now, my contact on the cushion is a neutral feeling. Hasn't become unpleasant yet because there's no pain yet, but it can for a bit longer. It's neutral, but so there's always feeling with us. Yeah. Then there's discernment. Like differentiating between one object and the other. So it can be like, oh, that's good, that's bad, it's cup, table. You have that discernment. That's constantly with. Even if you can have mental discernment as well. It's a good thought, it's a bad thought. That's very important for us. Because We are doing that. The discernment is what says, okay, I'm going to follow that kind of thinking, not that one. And we have the choice. It's not that the mind controls us. I mean, like, oh yes, we must be angry because that's the best way to be. Like, so there's an interesting question come up in the break. Is there times when you can use that kind of that unpleasant feeling? Like, because sometimes when we're, say, we see something unjust in the world, it's not fair. Why is it happening to them? Why is it happening to us? So that unpleasant feeling that accompanies that can be used to trigger our reaction, but it doesn't have to be anger, right? Like when we see things happening, for example, in Tibet and the prison activities still going on there, because that's not right. Why aren't they given freedom? But you can do it without anger. See, that's a very fine line to react to the injustices in the world or even to ourselves without having the wish to harm others to get that, to correct it. Yeah. Like I think during the Vietnam War, there's a lot of protests, against what's happening over there because it's not right. Why are such young soldiers dying for nothing, And the people say it's not right, it's not fair. Bring them back, bring them back. But they got to such an extent that it became almost dangerous, where they were harming others. But then it becomes that. It's also for the for all the different causes in the world, all this injustice in the world, to go out on the streets, but without a wish to harm, to take to give like a vindictiveness, right? That kind of thing. So yeah, the unpleasant sensation or feeling of seeing the injustices can make us react and make us react in such a way that can bring correction, can bring justice. It can work. Like some of the people, I think in Tibet have been saved just by people saying, "We know that person is there in that prison, so be careful what you do." Oh, yeah, sure, because it's not like just like a no-namer. Somebody's there, and we know, and people care about that person. So, you know, then the Chinese are much more careful. So it makes a dramatic effect on other people's lives and situations in the world, and even globally. With global warming, etc. More and more people come out saying it's not right. There's a young girl in Sweden, saying, "Look, you guys, you can make all the decisions, but we're the ones we're going to suffer. The next generation, So we went to a march in Toulouse, where the youth, school kids came out, saying I think they took a day off to school. They went on the street, so we were with them for about a few hours, and then they said, yeah, yeah, because it's affecting us. So they're going out saying, well, you guys make all your decisions, but in the end, it's going to affect us. So we care as well. So please do something for our sakes. To be, oh yeah, there is other next generation. That's true. So same with us. Like the dilemmas is constant. What his new plan, his new project is that these kind of minds are studied in schools. How the mind functions. What's mindfulness? What's anger? What actually we haven't got the main afflictions here. Like what's attachment, anger, pride? How do they come about? What do they see? What does the mind? You see, pride is a mind that focuses on one's qualities, which of course, well, the qualities exist. Maybe it's your health, your wealth, your understanding, intelligence, whatever, but exaggerates, puffs it up, like puffs up the qualities, and then believes them to be concretely there, and then we get into trouble because we think are much more intelligent than others. And what you do is you look down because like pride is like a puffed up mind. So whatever, like you put water on it, just dribbles off. Because we're like this fish, to get to that. So that mind comes from our exaggeration of our qualities. This is another. It's a fine line between exaggerating our qualities and believing in them, having self-confidence. That's suitable. That's normal. That's normal. Then to exaggerate that to such an extent that like you are the most intelligent and you know everything about Switzerland, then it gets in trouble. Right. So then his plan is to get kids to know exactly what these minds are, exactly what the other states of mind are, the positive states of minds are, and to see how to cultivate them. Because in that way, from a very small level, kids understand, how to be happy, where happiness really comes from. That's when they grow up. Well, they affect the whole, what jobs they do, what how they look at each other, the whole system, the world will change in that way. That's his main project now. It's not to convert everybody to Buddhism. Is that kind of thing is not, because he sees scientifically this is how we change. By the mind changing. So just that's why it's very interesting how the scientists can relate how, because now they test meditators. They put this stuff on them. It's okay. You need to meditate on compassion, and things light up in the. But you think then you see the thing is they have to ask the meditator. So what were you meditating on then? Was that compassion? It's just, oh, okay, this light comes up here. They have to do another person and the same place. Oh, then that place must be on the compassion side, because they didn't know till then. They don't know that this side is the compassion, this side whatever. So they have to check with the person. What were you doing then? Oh, okay. They show scientifically when you do that, do these type of meditations, much more peace and happiness in the world, much more peace in that, that person's continuum. So then say, okay, so if that's happening scientifically, why not bring it about? Because somehow we're more keen to believe science than Buddhism, or yeah. Because science has proven everything so far, right? So it must be true, right? If scientists say that's right, then we go, forget it. But still, see, they still haven't figured out exactly what mind is. You can't pinpoint it because it can't be, it's not tangible, and you can't be tested. It's not atomic. It's not even energy, like the lady was saying. It's not, because energy would mean it's recognizable, it's tangible, and it can be, and it can't. It's not there. It exists, but it can't be kind of seen, tested, looked for. So they're in a bit of a dilemma what to do with it. Also, like because there's also in Buddhism, there's cases where somebody's clinically dead, so the breath has stopped, heart has stopped, but the person hasn't decomposed. They haven't got a clue what's going on. So the Dharma is saying, you check, come, bring your instruments, and check on some of the meditators when they go into this state. You know, they're normally dead. I mean, clinically they'll be dead, but there's something there because they're not decomposing, and there's still like heat body. But then the scientists say, oh, I haven't got a clue what's going on, because there must be something there. I mean, normally you'd be dead by that definition of no breath, no heart, no blood circulating. Uh-oh. So yeah, the Dharma says, go ahead. You want to check them? Check them. Tell me what's going on because we don't know. No, actually, we say the mind has gone to a very, 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 very subtle state, and it rests at the heart level, not the heart, not the physical heart, the heart chakras. They've gone to a very subtle level for meditation. So actually, normally all of us, when we die, normally we go through these certain levels of dying, stages of death, and we'll see different visions. Okay, as the elements absorbing the earth element, the water element, the fire element, and they slowly absorb until there's only kind of a subtle mind left. At that stage, you're still alive, although clinically you're gone. You'd be dead for the normal, conventional way. And from that level, what happens is your mind is such a refined state, you can meditate easily. Because here we're trying to sit, watch the breath, and somebody's crying out there, someone is making a noise there, then we have a thought of this and thought of that. So it's not like that. Those gross distractions are gone. So we're in such a refined state, you can easily meditate. So the goal of the Buddhist practitioners is to be ready for that stage. A lot of our lives is, we talked about not getting angry, think of impermanence, think of compassion. Why? Because when all that, when we have good states of mind, we can go into that death state easily. We don't have strong regret or anything like that. Nothing. We just go slowly into this death. We're ready for the death stage as it happens. So normally you're either lying down or sitting down like this, and you become aware of the death process, because you've been practicing. Because actually there is in the text there is actually a manual of what happens in the death stages. First, this happens. So I think the earth element dissolves. So you see like a mirage. Then this element, then this next element dissolves. Then you see this, and you're getting ready for it. So what happens? I mean, it's not like you see with your eyes. You see inwardly. It's a different vision comes. Then next vision comes. Next vision comes. Then you go into a very, very subtle state. And you're in this clear light, a blissful white light. From that state, you meditate very easily. So that's why some of the yogis, like these practitioners, they will use that state to go into meditation, and then they can stay there for up to 2 weeks. Some 2 weeks. So imagine 2 weeks, especially in the heat in India, like 40 degrees, and they don't decompose. The scientists are absolutely wow. We don't know what's going on. They're really amazed. So they, of course, they'd like to say there's something that's mind, but they don't know what mind is. So okay, because the brain's not functioning anymore, right? So then, what can we do? Yeah, so that's one of the ways of meditating when you go into. But see, a lot of us, we're not ready for that kind of practice because a lot of us may be so sick by that time, maybe under drugs or heavy medication that we won't have a clue what's going on. So if normally you get ready for that. So some of the great yogis, even now in India, are still doing that. So that's what the Dalai Lama is saying to the scientists: if you bring your stuff out, bring all your machines, check out what's going on, because it'll be interesting to see what's happening. See, and then they leave. So the subtle mind, when they finish the meditation, they can leave the body, and the body collapses, and it starts to decompose naturally. Mm. Okay, let's start to do some analytical meditation. Okay, a little bit. Yeah, so regret is another thing. Yeah, the next page. So regret is so again, regret can be either positive or negative depending. Imagine you wanted to steal something and you didn't, and you have regret for not stealing it. So that's a negative regret. So positive regret, if you took something and you feel, oh gosh, I shouldn't have done that, and give it back. So, yeah. The regret is either way. It can be positive or negative. Same like sleep. Right. So let's get comfortable in a position that's can keep for a little while, 20 minutes, half an hour. The back is straight, the shoulders are open, relaxed, same level. So again, hands you can keep like this. Right hand on your left, thumbs touching. If that's true, it becomes true. If you're not familiar with that, it's difficult for you. Just can put your hands on your knees, relax. Keep your arms away from the body a little bit. The head is not too far high up, not too far low down, at a very good distance. The tongue is gently touching your upper palate. Jaws are relaxed, the eyes can be gently closed. Gently bring the mind inside. So you can start again by scanning the body. So do a little bit quicker this time if you're used to it. From the crown of your head, bringing that awareness, attention to the sensations around the crown, going down to the forehead, around the eyes. And the rest of the face, go around the mouth and the jaws. Throat, shoulders, going down the back. Back into the hips, becoming aware of the torso, the weight of your torso on the cushion. Down into the thighs, the legs, feet, touch contact with the rest for some time. The sensations of the feet, the soles of the feet, going to toes, coming back up, the feet, ankles, calf muscles, knee, thighs, hips, coming into the fore abdomen area, diaphragm, lungs, becoming aware of the breathing, the whole movement of your breath as the air comes in, fills the lungs. Breathe out. Start to become also aware of the chest, heart beating, the different sensations around the chest. Going down the shoulders again and down the arms, coming down to the hands. Going up from the hands, up the arms again, shoulders, neck, back of the neck, up back of the head, crown. Once again, gently take the awareness very slowly to the breath, becoming aware of the different sensations as you breathe in, breathing out, so keeping your awareness more towards the nostrils, tip of the nose. It's more sensitive where you feel the air come into contact with the body. Just rest your mind on that. As different sensations come or different sounds, you just label. Let the mind label sound. Just let it go back to the breath. Same with different thoughts. So you're thinking, so to be very gentle with yourself. Every time you've lost the object, the breath, all you do is very gently bring it back without forcing it, without making it struggle. Just very gently tie the mind back to the breath. So with the mind very calm, now visualize around you people that are close to you, your family, friends. If you want, you can think by visualizing your mother to the left of you, sitting to the left, father to the right of you, behind you, your friends, in front of you are people you don't know, so people maybe you see every day, but not friends or difficult people, the neutral people in your life. You surround yourself with all the other people of humankind. Includes the difficult people. They're seated in front of you. And see how naturally this feeling of concern, care, love come to people that you care about. Family, friends. Stay with that feeling for a while, this genuine concern, wish for their happiness, well-being, good health. Now try to have it for gently start with one person, one neutral person in your life, perhaps in your work or while you're traveling to work. You haven't really made contact with, so you can't really say they're a friend, you can't really say they're difficult. Try to generate the similar kind of concern for them because just like you, they are human with human values, peace, happiness, kind of pleasant comfort, physical. Wonderful if they also found whatever makes them happy. So you work from general, ordinary happiness of good, stable jobs, health, relationship, and move on to really stable happiness. They have equanimity, universal love. They generate one neutral person and move on to another. Try to think also of difficult people. They're just similar to us, only happiness, maybe intentionally trying to harm us in some way or unpleasant to us. Maybe we've done nothing from our side that we is being justified to have that harm, but we're receiving it. Let the mind gently, slowly begin to accept that it's happening. It's not under, they're not really under their power, it's their anger or jealousy, resentment. See also maybe the good qualities of having to experience that, and maybe we look at ourselves, the faults they're pointing out in us, really within us. We have those faults, and we correct that behavior that we not a fault from our side, then we just have to accept it. We have to practice patience, have to bear it. Even though we may attempt to mediate, to dialogue, communicate, accept that as a feature of patience. The mind can accept it with gratitude, qualities, the benefits of having such a person. Try to have this kind of appreciation of others who we haven't really seen, met, but just the comfort we have now from the clothes we're wearing, seats we're sitting on, comforts in our homes, transport, all comes to the work of without their existence, without their work, we wouldn't be able to experience the comforts. Mind starts to fade or become distracted or wandering, go back to that. Go back from the beginning and I have with this love instinctively for people who are directly kind to us. Then go on to neutral people who haven't shown this kindness directly, but because of them we have all the comforts easier. Gadgets produced, medicine produced. Slowly we go on also to difficult people just due to their actions. It makes us practice patience. try to conclude the mind thinking how it's irrational, ridiculous to just discriminate between those who are close to us now, mind, we're only concerned for them, love for them, others around. Even the so-called friends of this life are once strangers due to situation, sharing, companionship, trust. Any of these neutral people, even the difficult people in our lives, overnight can change depending on how they behave to us. Our fickle mind just wants profit, gain, suddenly appreciate them. So with that, we try to dedicate whatever positive energy we accumulated to be actually one day, as we train our mind to have those states of mind, universal appreciation and love for every living being. So not just humans, all sentient beings. Thereby, developing those minds be of utmost benefit to these beings. Yeah, so that's one way we kind of, we calm the mind, so we get kind of neutral by the breath, meditation. Then we drive the mind to go whichever field or subject it wants to go into. If it's impermanence, we go from the breath, see how the breath is changing every second, see how our body is changing every second, to see our own impermanence. Then we go on to others, how they're impermanent, how all products are impermanent. Just like our body is very fragile. So but somehow we think these are more solid. But it's the same, no? They just change. Produce, can change. Same with our body. Produce, can change, and we can have a sickness. As soon as the elements change, we have a sickness coming. So also, yeah, with each breath, with each exhalation, we're actually losing lifespan. It's getting shorter. Nothing we can do. It's inevitable. Get closer to different sicknesses come as the elements deteriorate. Aging comes. Nothing we can. Then death comes. That's our natural process. And also, if that, yeah, assuming we live that long, it's not sure. The elements can change overnight. Sudden sicknesses come that can people get cancer, and then within weeks they may be gone. Until they were healthy, good, had good conditions, and then suddenly elements change, and we don't know. All of us are under that control. So then what happens when it happens? How do we accept it? How do we deal with that situation? Like the lady here was saying, I don't know, where she said, when things like cancer come, people can heal themselves to this attitude of almost like I haven't got it, like I'm not sick. Like sometimes the doctors give a diagnosis and they actually make a mistake. And the person starts to believe they have their sickness, and they actually start to deteriorate. But sometimes the doctors have made a mistake. They maldiagnose, and the person doesn't have that sickness. So our mind can create a whole huge scene of stuff. It's the same. But she was saying, you may get diagnosed, but if you believe that you don't have it, you might get cured. I don't know if that can work, but in Buddhism, we have the idea of when you get it, of course, it's like an unpleasant sensation when like the mosquito comes. But by your attitude, it can reduce the pain. So same with the attitude of, okay, I've got it. I'm gonna try and get well. I have good um, good medicine, good doctors. There's a possibility to get, and believing that possibility to be cured, that might pull you out. If you start to get down, get depressed, oh, the doctors won't find anything. 90% of patients have died. Well, that's another way of thinking. Then you may get worse. And so thinking, no, I have the good antibodies. I can take a medicine that's gonna, and they're finding new medicines every time. Have that hope, and then maybe that attitude. Like, yeah. So yeah, that's another way of going through. You calm the mind, go through impermanence and impermanence of yourself, of others, and then think actually, yeah, because all the conditions can come that can take the life. So what's important? Conclusions. What is important? Is it to keep on holding on to all the old attachments and anger and grudges, everything? Or is it to let go of that, forgive, pardon, change my mind, change how I behave in certain situations? Like important. Because in the end, nothing can help. Nothing can really help. You have to go alone. Nobody else can go with you. Nobody experience death for you. So again, death is not a big, big, big. Um, the death itself is not a big um, fear in the Buddhist thing. It's not, because it's more what's going to happen after death. That's pretty frightening because you don't know where you're going to go. But for the death, I mean, if you don't believe you're going to go anywhere, fine. You shouldn't be scared, right? But but you know, but death in a way is difficult because you separate from everything you've been attached to, that you clung to, reputation, fame, everything. Family, friends, possessions, everything. You can't take in one little thread of your garments. You can't even take your body with you. So wow, that's scary. All those years of protecting, washing, cleaning up, you gotta let go of it. Or you probably in the prime of your youth or something. But how many people have gone at 20, 16, 18, something. So when that happens, when your thought that comes, oh gosh, what's important in my life? What can I do with this life? The conclusion should be that, not like, right, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. Get your bucket list out. Okay. Like with my father, like this January, I think, we got a call. I called my mum, my stepmom. She said, yes, actually. I said, shall I come because I heard it's bad? And she goes, yeah, it is bad. It's not as it's not as well as it used to be, and it's a bit more demanding now. And the doctor said there's nothing they can do. Kidneys are going, the heart's kind of failing. All the medicines on the market is he's taking. So in the end, that's it. The doctor's gonna sign you off. So thanks, but no matter how much money you have, no matter you've got the best hospital in the world, at some stage, that's it. Yeah, I'll be ready for that. So that's one way of directing meditation can go that way. So not to get depressed, but to think, okay, so now let's see what's important. So yeah, it's another way. It's appreciation of everybody, of being all the beings around you, not to have ignoring people and pushing people away, but one is equally passionate and loving to. Okay, that's it. That's mind, and all the happiness comes from that single thing, you know. Kind of in us somewhere, it's pervading our body. So normally, it's actually essentially it's residing in the heart chakra, but it pervades our. And sometimes it can leave our body. Like in the near-death experience, it can actually. And also, some people can use it to, you know, to go through um, clairvoyance to leave the body and go out and leave the body. So the mind is really, really, really powerful. It depends on us how we want to use it, the potential of it. Because it's by nature has that clarity of all the wisdom, all the love, compassion that, you know, we thought only somebody like a very holy beings to have it, but you know, they just have it because they train their minds in it. Basically, the only difference is this. You know, they weren't born super Buddhas or something, or you know, holy beings. They practice. Lama Zopa practiced. His last life, he was in retreat. He wasn't a monk in his last life. He was actually a lay person, and he was married. He was doing business for a while. He was Nepali, but doing business between Tibet and Nepal. And then at some stage in his life, he went into retreat, and lived in retreat. Lived in a cave up near Everest, near the Sulakhumbu region in Nepal. Did life retreat, and he passed away there. And then next reincarnation was He was born in a village nearby, nearby the cave actually. And as a boy, like I think even before he could talk, apparently he was every time the door of his house was open, he'd be stumbling out up this track, you know? And his sister couldn't figure out where he's going. Every time the door's open, he just starts going up this track. And eventually they said, "Oh, maybe this is a reincarnation of that lama that's passed away, cave up." So what happened? They know what they do. What they do in the Tibetan tradition, they get the old stuff that the Lama used, like you know maybe the bells or gongs like this, you know, and they put them like with five other gongs, and they tell the child, okay, please choose your gong. So of course they just pick theirs immediately. Yeah, because normally you see a child, what they do is they mix it. They're quite clever. I mean, they mix it with shiny, you know, shiny gongs and new ones. You know. So the boy normally picks the one that was his from his last life. And maybe they got you know frames or walking sticks on this. So that's one of the tested. So Rinpoche got all of them right. He was chosen as the, but then he always says, not even now, I think they got the wrong one. He was, I'm not the right one. Yeah. He calls himself the Himalayan comedian because always making jokes and stuff. This retreat, such good humor. See, that's the thing. See, he just had a stroke a few years ago, you know. So normally you kind of paralyzed, can't speak, but he's made so much effort, like, to be able to articulate again, to move again. I mean, he's walking with great difficulty. He's still walking. He needs attendants to come with him. But to me, but mine, completely happy, you know, absolutely blissful. Doesn't talk about this sickness, doesn't dwell on this sickness. No. That's pretty amazing. Like even now when I see him in the retreat, yeah, because there's a physical prostration we do in Buddhism when you come every time you enter a temple and you see a holy object or the statue or the image, because it's not the image. It's supposed to remind you of the living presence of the Buddha, who was our example, who told us all the methods of the mind, how it works, and how to develop it. So we're so thankful and so grateful for what that person did, that historical Buddha did. You know. It's like, wow. You know, it's like the best doctor. It's like if you got cancer and a doctor finds a cure for it, you are just so unbelievably thankful for this doctor. You know, it's like it's your lifesaver. For this Buddha is like our lives saver because he's trying to stop us from coming back into lives, so we never have to experience cancer again. You see, so wow, he's like the super hero. So when you see people like this, automatically this humility comes of, oh, you know, so you want to put head, the highest part, 'cause, uh, to the floor. Say thank you. But also another way of saying that this image represents what we can achieve. That Buddha state, that kind of purified state of mind, is what we would also like to achieve. So we kind of prostrate to our own result in the end. That we acknowledge that that's what we want. So when you see him come in the temple, although he's, I'm not sure if there's pain, but a lot of physical discomfort, he comes. And he insists on prostrating still with all his, so he can just about get his, and he puts it there. And well, it takes really painful to watch him because it was so much. And he insists on getting up alone. Of course, the attendants are there just in case, gets up. And he does it again. We could do it 3 times. First, we go towards remember the physical acts of the body of the Buddha, then the speech of the Buddha, and the mind of the Buddha. He's doing that. So even after all this physical discomfort, it's so important to show respect. But yeah, these people didn't become like that just overnight. It took a lifetime. I mean, yeah. So we don't. I mean, maybe that's not our goal, but we can think we want to change. Take some time. So we have to be a little bit patient with ourselves. Not that we can be suddenly loving and appreciate everybody overnight. It has to come slowly. So you start slowly expanding this love towards people you're not so close to, like neutral people that you see every day. Just appreciate them. There may be also difficult people. Try to appreciate they may be in a difficult situation in their lives. Maybe maybe it's not you that they're personally angry against. It's just generally life in general, or their situation, or something's not going on well in their life situation. They blame you. So to accept that. And then try to accept them as being an object of value, of compassion, of love. Like when you see people at the Dalai Lama, you see when they hear of really extreme cruel people, I think they have more love for them, compassion for them than the person himself has for himself or herself. Why? Because you see, they see people at Dalai Lama, they see that this cruelty, the cruel acts of this person, is going to bring them incredible pain, incredible consequences in this life, of course, in Buddhist context, future lives. So it's like an unbelievable love and compassion, wanting to help them, no matter how much harm that they're giving out, they want to help. Not like I'm not. I mean, he doesn't talk about Mao Zedong so much, but I think no matter what harm he did in Tibet, it's like wow, because of the consequences of those actions, the Dalai Lama would have incredible passionate love for that, and whoever who was harming around. So that's the level of mind we can get to if we want to. Our choice. Agree? Okay, I'm gonna leave it. Mind and its potential. Yeah, there are some meditations what we normally do, like we to regress, to actually go back and to check every moment of mind, where is this thought coming from, that feeling coming from, that thought coming from. That's one way. It's not called, it's not regression or some regression therapy. It's just watching. And so when you watch the breath, actually, as the mind calms down, you will begin to notice. Oh yeah, that thought's coming up suddenly, because there was a cause for it. Some other thought came up. Well, maybe say you hear the sound of a bird. That sound made you think, oh yeah, I remember when I heard the sound of a bird somewhere and I really liked it. So these are all mind moments, and you go back second by second by second. Some people, because if they're so concentrated, they can go back. I mean, one lady, she was doing the meditation in Kopan, in this monastery I talked about, and she was able to go back into the womb. Actually. So some can go back from there and then into another rebirth. And they think, oh yeah, I was this. That's not the goal. I mean, to just see that the mind has its own cause. It didn't come from the brain. It didn't come from the body. It came from somewhere else. So then then the body came, and now we're together. And now that mind has a clarity, a clear aspect, meaning it's not always with our, if you think when you're meditating, you're not always angry, right? You may have anger sometimes coming and going, but it's not, anger is not part of you. Pride is not part of you. It comes when we start to think in a certain way of our qualities. And anger comes when you start to think in a certain way about, this person, that person, this situation. So all these things, they're like fleeting, like clouds in the sky, but it's not our real nature of the mind. So the real nature of the mind is kind of, and so those things, because it doesn't come automatically, we have to generate them again by thinking, increasing that and making a habit until it's automatic. So people like this have it automatically. It's coming so spontaneously. We have a level of it to certain beings, so it's partial. So they have it impartial. But then again, it's not really up to. I mean, I can't force it. Up to you if you want that impartial love and compassion. If you want it just for your friends and family to increase it more and more, you have that possibility. You can increase it. So even if your mother's saying this and that, and whether no, but that's oh yeah, but that's my mother. She's under control over her trip, so you don't get angry. No, let her go on with it. So you can have it just even for one person. We can have it. I mean, I think unlimited passion, love. Like you see parents with their children when children get upset at them, they don't immediately get angry because it's their child, and the child is maybe getting bad because they say something because they don't want to eat something that day. They want to go somewhere, they can't go somewhere, and of course they will say hurtful things, but it'll the mother will just shrug it off because they don't believe in it. You know? So we can't do the same thing when it's an adult who's saying something provocative to us because we take it very personally, but mother doesn't take it personally. If they're in good mental strength, they don't take it personally. It's just hidden. They get what they want. So like I had this story where I had a friend who was I think she had four sons, and one of the sons, I think she gave him something to eat, and he didn't want to eat that, so he got so angry, and he said, "Look, mum, you're a terrible cook, and you're not even good looking." And she said that she laughed because it's so funny. Where did the kid learn? I think it's 5, 6 years old. Where did he learn this? So must have picked it up from maybe some other family is weird or something. And she had to laugh because the guy he really wanted to hurt her. It didn't work. So we haven't got that. We hear something. Of course, it'd be silly if we laugh at somebody who's really angry with us. We get into trouble. But I think the Tibetans are a bit like this actually. They're different, different breed really. But you don't try this at home. But normally when they see somebody angry, like this, especially in the monastery, right, they laugh so much that the guy has to end up laughing. It's ridiculous. And my teacher was saying this. I'm not quite sure if it really works like that, but he said, like in the monastic environment, and there's somebody like real grumpy or something. The guy just will rip into pieces. Because what are you grumpy about? What, In the end, the guy just has to laugh because it's so ridiculous to keep up with this guy. You can't be angry the whole day. It's actually impossible, he might try to be grumpy and moody, or I don't know, but they will just I think take the mickey out of him until he just laughs. Inside, it does work actually sometimes. When you're angry, you need a friend can do it. Maybe a friend might say, "Oh, come on, lighten up," Then because you trust a friend, and it might help you lighten up. So yeah, that's what they do. They break it because it's hard, to keep that. I mean, people do it. Some people have that kind of grudge or vengeance. You just bring up somebody's name and click, they're off. Because it's brooding in here. You just laugh. It's not a big thing, That's what they do. They just laugh. I mean, maybe that's why the Dalai Lama, you see him always is laughing. Well, the small little thing will trigger him. It's like on chat shows. And Lama's also is full of. Even when he talks about really heavy stuff, like karma and somebody had to go through this sickness. he starts to laugh. I think, my gosh, if somebody saw that, I think is. But for him, I think it's like thinking, it's yeah, this person's experiencing this due to something they've done. So due to something they've done through not knowing, they had to experience as a result. It's so sad, It's kind of almost ridiculously funny, but they just don't know what they're doing. And one of our teachers called Kandrala, she's a Tibetan teacher. She's very close to Dalai Lama. She's, I told you recently, she's like the oracle, one of the official oracles for the Dalai Lama. So when she comes to teach, she goes the other way. When she talks about karma and how these actions lead to these different concepts, she'd cry. She get like little tears run down her, and she can't teach anymore because she's full of emotion. She's because it's so sad that it's almost like I think like maybe like maybe like when you're I'm not a parent, but if you're a parent, you see kids doing stuff, and maybe they have a great aptitude to follow these kind of studies, but they don't. It's like wow, it's so sad that they're missing out. What their highest potential. She's like that. Or they do something silly, and then the consequence is going to be this. And that's what she sees. I guess she sees. I don't know if she's got clairvoyance, but she sees. Oh yeah, people are doing out of our not knowing. We do stuff to hurt people, and then that is going to bring about consequences. Like we talked recently, Sabina's brother, about the law, the general law here. You know, human laws that we make. If you do something, this is the kind of punishment you get: a fine, a prison sentence. Blah, blah, blah. Of course, that's here in this system, but you see, the law of karma is beyond that. If you get life sentence or 20 years here or there, it's not a big deal. It's what that will come about to that person in another life. That's the big deal. And the person has no idea why they have to experience that certain miserable situation in their life because they can't remember what they did. It's just like us, we say, why is it happening to me all this time? I'm working, I've got a good job, and I've got a good CV, I can't get a job. Other people haven't got a good CV, they get a good job. It's not fair. Or I'm good looking and I haven't got a partner, and they look like rubbish, and I say, why? Why is it? It's because it's coming back from past stuff, right? And that's why we can't pinpoint what it is, why that person gets that result. Into another topic. Okay, thank you very much for being here, listening, reflecting. I hope you come and keep going because other courses happening next time, August. Is it? Oh, sorry, me. Yes, forgot about. Okay, yes. Oh, also August as well. One of my mates, my Swiss mates, is coming. Tenzin Namse, German. So he'll be talking in German. He's coming August 11th. So I think every month there's something happening. Interested. Okay, let's dedicate all this energy, this positive energy for. Okay, we'll be a little bit selfish for ourselves. Okay, a little bit because we need help as well. So for us to have no obstacles to continue our search for our development, our own development, and whatever obstacles come up, may we be able to use them properly into more development, like more patience, more love. Instead of being discouraged, may the obstacles be actually a way for us to change drastically. And then by changing ourselves, may we be of better, more benefit to others around us. We include humans, but then all the animals and different things. And by that, may we really we have a drastic effect on the whole the planet. Get more and more aware of what's happening, our mind working. If we have more peace, contentment in the world, more patience, and then we develop also for our ultimate, complete development of our mind. So what we call the completely awakened state. Awakened meaning completely purified, so a pure state of mind called for that. And then all the beacons in our life for giving out these teachings that help to develop that. So people like Dalai Lama, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, all the other spiritual traditions for teaching virtue, ethics, good qualities of mind. May all those beings have long lives, stable lives, able to continue spreading the message, the teaching, the help. Thank you. Thank you for coming, being patient.